Is it a good idea to buy a property on a land contract? Hello, this is Dave at TitleSearch.com, and today this video will talk about land contracts and how they affect buyers and sellers. A land contract is an alternate way of purchasing real estate under financing. Instead of going to a bank and getting a mortgage and having a third party lend money to buy from the seller, the title in this case is held by the seller. Payments are made by the purchaser until the entire purchase is complete, and then the title deed is transferred upon final payment and completion of terms to the buyer. It does require a certain amount of trust in that seller. If you buy a property under a conventional mortgage from a bank, the title is transferred away from the seller. The seller has no more control over the title. It's between you and the bank as a buyer. In the case of a land contract, the seller still holds that title. So as long as they held the title, there's some risk that that title may not be available for you as a free and clear title when you complete the sale. You want to make sure that the land contract, of course, is recorded so that any subsequent interest in that property, it can't be sold to somebody else. If you have your land contract recorded and the owner of the property, the prior owner, wants to sell it to somebody else, they're going to pick that up on a title search and the sale probably won't go through. You also want to make sure the seller actually has title to the property. We've run title searches on a land contract where the person who sold the property wasn't even legally on title. They may have had a partner, they may have been married and had a spouse on title, they may have already transferred it to somebody else. So you want to verify they're actually legally on title at that time. You also want to see if there's any liens, mortgages, or claims to the property that might affect your title. If there's a mortgage on the property that already exists and you're buying on a land contract, that mortgage company has right of priority before you do. Even if it's represented that that mortgage will be paid off, if it's not, that seller can't sign over the title to you. More importantly, your land contract may trigger what's called a due on sale clause on that mortgage. The mortgage that the seller has might require that if they transfer any ownership rights to a third party, meaning you, that they have to pay off the mortgage in full. The mortgage company may not be aware of it initially. They're not going to know that that land contract exists, but many mortgage companies will audit their properties in their portfolio on a regular basis to see if there's any recordings that affect their interest. And if that's the case, it may require a due on sale clause, and then that may unwind your land contract because now the seller is going to have to come up with all the money for that mortgage from somewhere. You want to see if there's any liens against the property. A lien against the property may come in front of your land contract. If there's a lien, let's say for taxes or even from a third party from a lawsuit, that seller won't be able to sign over the clear title to you without that lien being cleared. And that's what you really want when you get the contract paid for. You want a clear title in your name, and you want to have good title. And if there's already risk against that good title that exists at the beginning of the contract, it stands to reason it might get worse down the line. So get good legal advice from an attorney. This is just some basic title information. It's not legal advice. Make sure an attorney is advising you. More importantly, make sure you start out by getting a good title search to see that that seller has title in the property. It's in their name. They have the ability to sell it. It also might give you some good information about the history of the property. Was it foreclosed on before? Did it have any liens on it? Did the current seller have a higher mortgage amount, a lower mortgage amount? Was it refinanced? That might be good intel for you to negotiate the best deal on that land contract.